One day, in 1789, during a public beheading, the executioner failed to cut cleanly. The blade got stuck in bone, and he had to pull a saw right there, in front of children. That was the day Dr. Joseph Guillotine stood up in the assembly and said, "If we are to execute, let it be quick and equal. A painless death, for rich and poor the same." His idea, a machine. Sharp, heavy, fast, one strike. Paris loved it. Engineers built it, lawmakers approved it, and the people they celebrated it. And the guillotine? It becomes so busy, that workers wash it only at night. Because in daytime, it never stops. 40, 50, sometimes 60 people a day. Crowds cheer as heads fall like autumn apples. Until one day the blade fell, and something went wrong. The execution didn't end in silence. It ended in screams. Henri Laguerre was not a political figure, nor a famous killer. He was just a thief accused of robbing a nobleman. In any other time, he would have been jailed. But during the French Revolution, even stealing bread could lead to death. So, Henri was sentenced to the guillotine. It was early morning. The workers hadn't even fully cleaned the scaffold from the previous day's executions. The wood still smelled like old blood. Henri looked terrified as he walked up the steps, not proud or calm like Charlotte Corday. He was shaking, whispering prayers, sweating, clinging to the executioner's coat. He kept saying, "Please make it quick, please make it clean." What happened next would make history, not because of his crime, but because of how badly the execution went. The executioner pulled the lever. The blade started to drop, then got stuck halfway. It didn't reach Henri's neck. The crowd didn't cheer. Nobody moved. It wasn't dramatic. It was awkward. Some thought it was a technical mistake. Others laughed nervously. Henri screamed, still fully alive. Executors tried again. They lifted the blade back, wiped it, made adjustments, and positioned him again. This time, Henri fought. He begged, cried, told the crowd he stole only to eat. The executioners forced his head down. Second attempt. The blade fell again. This time, it hit the back of his neck but not fully. It cut deep, but his head did not separate. Blood poured. Henri started making a choking, gurgling sound, alive, in pain, half decapitated. People didn't cheer. People didn't clap. Some threw up. Some fainted. The guillotine, advertised as a clean, painless, instant death, had just failed twice. Henri was still conscious. The executioners panicked. They wiped sweat from their faces. This had never happened like this before, not in public, not in front of hundreds. Still alive, Henri begged for them to finish it. The officials ordered a third attempt quickly. They lowered the blade again, cleaned and re-oiled and prepared. The third strike finally severed the head, but it wasn't clean. It tore muscles. It wasn't death by machine anymore. It was death by butchery. After this horrifying event, local newspapers questioned if executioners were becoming careless due to excessive work. Some blamed dull blades. Some blamed rust. Charlotte Corday was only 24. Calm, polite, well-spoken. She did not look like a killer. But Paris called her the angel of assassination because she murdered Jean-Paul Marat, one of the revolution's loudest voices. A man who encouraged thousands of executions. She didn't deny it. In fact, she said, "I killed one man, to save 100,000. The court didn't care. There was no real trial. Her name was placed on the execution list. And on July 17, 1793, she was taken to the guillotine. Crowds rushed to see her. Not because they hated her, but because she had become famous. Unlike others who screamed and begged before dying, Charlotte walked with dignity. Quiet. No shaking. No tears. People whispered, "She looks like she's going to a wedding, not an execution." When she reached the platform, she didn't curse the revolution. She simply said, "I killed Marat. You killed France." They placed her under the blade. She closed her eyes. And then the blade dropped. A clean, fast cut. The crowd clapped. It looked perfect. But then something happened that shocked history. The executioner, a man named Laguerre, lifted her severed head by the hair to show it to the crowd. That was normal, but he did something unusual. He slapped her face. And the crowd gasped. Because when he slapped her, her eyes opened, her cheeks reddened, her facial muscles tightened like she was angry. Witnesses said her eyes focused not blank, but aware. Some people screamed. Some fainted, some ran away. For the first time, a horrifying question spread through Paris: was she still alive? For those few seconds? Doctors later studied it. Some claimed a severed human head stays conscious for 15 to 30 seconds. They even tried experiments calling to decapitated heads, and some heads blinked, flinched, or stared. It is June 17, 1939. Paris. The city is quiet in the morning, but word has spread: Eugène Weidmann, a convicted murderer and kidnapper, is about to die. Unlike the executions of the Revolution, this one is filmed. A new age. A new level of horror. Weidmann is calm, almost smug, as he is led to the guillotine. He has been convicted of murdering 6 people. The crowd gathers, dozens of journalists and cameramen standing nearby. They are here for history, and yet, what they witness will shock everyone. The execution begins. The lever is pulled. The blade falls. But it doesn't cut cleanly. Not fully. Blood splashes in an uneven arc. Weidmann flinches, gurgles, struggles. The spectators scream. Some turn their heads. Others are frozen, unable to look away. The camera records every second, a silent witness to the malfunction. The executioner struggles to adjust the blade, panic showing in small movements. For a few unbearable seconds, Weidmann's body convulses, his head partially severed. People faint. Children are pulled away by horrified parents. The press tries to keep filming, some cannot look through the lens. Finally, the guillotine completes the decapitation, but the damage has already been done. The world sees that the humane machine can fail. That death can be messy, brutal, terrifying even after centuries of supposed perfection. The aftermath is immediate. Newspapers and officials call the event a national scandal. The horror of watching a man partially alive after a machine is supposed to kill him instantly sparks outrage. Within months, France bans all public executions, fearing the spectacle and psychological damage to the crowds. Eugène Weidmann becomes the last person publicly executed in France. The guillotine will never be used in public again. And for the public, the fear lingers. The guillotine, celebrated for its efficiency, is now known for its terrifying unpredictability. The machine that promised a clean death had shown its dark, imperfect reality. By the early 20th century, the question of whether a severed human head remains conscious is no longer just speculation. Scientists begin to study it quietly, in laboratories away from public view. One of the most infamous cases is that of Henri Laguerre, executed in 1905. Doctors observe him after decapitation, something no one had dared record before. Immediately after the blade falls, the head is lifted. Doctors call his name. They shine lights into his eyes. And then something horrifying happens. The eyes focus, the pupils move, the eyelids blink. For a terrifying 30 seconds, the severed head reacts to the environment, to sound, to light, to touch. It's not imagination. It's not myth. For half a minute, the head is aware. Some facial muscles twitch. Some observers swear the mouth moves slightly, as if trying to speak. Doctors note the involuntary movement of the tongue, the flicker of the eyelids. The body below lies still, but the head shows signs of life. The implications are horrifying. A machine designed to deliver a quick, painless death might not work as advertised. Guillotine victims thought to die instantly may have experienced awareness, terror, and even pain, for seconds after the blade. This secret study shakes scientific and public belief. It spreads quietly through reports, causing historians, doctors, and executioners to rethink what they assumed about the humane guillotine. The blade that promised justice, equality, and swift death now carries a dark question.